Well, I want to thank you all for coming out this evening. And let's see. So I guess you want me to tell you some stories. The most recent one is basically waiting for this thing to arrive back from a country in Europe. And it was supposed to be here sometime in the early year, probably about February or March in there. And we got word that there was some kind of an invoice problem. And basically I spent a couple of sleepless nights thinking about it because I have to say so, I love that painting. And I wanted it here as a key piece. And so all my plans were kind of floating.
What drew you to this particular painting? Was there something about the person or about the way?
Yeah, it was a fashion
Okay.
thing in a magazine, and I found it about 20 years ago. And I just happened to have this magazine, and oh, that's interesting. I just tore it out, and I never touched it until about 10 years later, when I dug it out of my stacks of papers, right? I says, oh, that's workable. And at the time, an artist friend of mine in Chilliwack had some linen canvas, and she asked me if I wanted to use it. So this is my first encounter with working on linen canvas, and I loved it. Because, I mean, this kind of canvas, the cotton canvas, is okay most of the time, but that was beautiful to work with, besides the image. So.
What's the difference between the two kinds of canvas? What makes?
Well, it's better made, and like if you want a fine canvas, you can't beat it. It's the best. And I've done a couple other things using it, but for some reason it didn't turn out as well. That's the way it goes. So. But mostly I use canvas and oil. And when we first moved here, I didn't have a studio because we were living in an RV for 3 years waiting for, to deal with the local authorities about where you can live, right? So, but it was on May's mother's farm. And so at one point, we were working on our carriage house, and we had a couple of days where we didn't have to do anything to work on it. So I went to the bin, one of those metal bins where most of my stuff was. I dug out some paints and went upstairs and started painting with no windows or anything else and all that. Just one big gigantic space, about this big actually, all to myself. And I went nuts for a couple of months. Worked on different pieces. And some of them turned out good and others did not, which is usually the course of things. And the boy in the water there, that was from a photograph I took when a bunch of us and some friends came up in a recreational vehicle and up to Kelowna, and we parked near the lake, and we just camped ourselves there right beside the lake for about 3 or 4 days, and nothing but trouble actually. But so, and then one day we were just sitting in our chairs around there having a beer or two, and this group of boys came down to the lake. So, and they were digging around and doing what they do. That's one of the photos I took. And that painting I did in the RV.
I'd like to know a little bit about why Gathy Fox's name is mentioned on the
Oh, because me and an art friend that I went to art school with in Vancouver, he was living in her basin, of all places. And he was from Chilliwack, and I was from Chilliwack, and he was a couple of years ahead of me. But I made friends with him earlier. So, anyways, one day he said to me, he says, Julie needs some painters to do some pillars, for Roman pillar kind of a trip. Because I figured exactly what she called those pieces she did, those cedar pieces. I think that's what they were amazing surrealistic ventures, right? And so we got invited over to her place. Beautiful little house. And she had a friend living upstairs who made dresses for women's clothing, right? And for part of one of the productions she was doing, they needed feathers. So that was a photo I seen. And in the original production, there was this scene of her sitting there, and then there was a table, something like that, sitting in front of a narrow one with these turntables and peacocks on the table that goes, all the tables were going around with these peacocks. So I wasn't directly involved with that production, but I learned a lot from being around her for a while, and amazing woman, and she just recently passed away.
The picture of what's titled Mother and Me, can you tell us a story about
Oh,
that?
Mother and I. Yeah.
Mother and I.
Well, it's a photograph. I was about 5 years old, and the only way I know this scene is from the photograph, one of those little old style photos about that big. And I'm looking at it one day, and I said, "Oh hell, I'm gonna paint this." And I remember you, Richard and Julie were visiting one day, and I showed you this, and I said, "Yeah, it needs more work." And you promptly said, "No, you should leave it." So I did, and I just kept staring at it because you can still see the chalk marks in it, which are supposed to be guiding. And the more I looked at it that way, the more I liked it. It's not as clear as any of these other ones, but it works in its own way, I think. And
like a memory.
huh?
Like a memory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like the fact that she's carrying a watermelon. It's kind of suggestive of other things. One of the visitors that came to the studio one day on their trips to studios, and this painting was up in the racks, and I wanted to bring it down, and I ended up dropping it for some strange reason, and it dropped into a small piece I had on glass, and it broke. And at the time, I didn't notice it because I was just saying, "Oh God, I'm sorry," because she kind of jumped, the woman that was talking to me. And I never noticed until the next day I picked it up, and it was torn right through here. So I thought, oh great, there's one piece that won't be in. And then I read up on how you're supposed to go about fixing these things. So you got to put a patch on the back, glue it down there, put weight on it and all the rest of it. And but at the same time, it closed it. But if you want to snoop later, you can still see the scar. But I had to change, it's basically blue, right, with a little bit of some other stuff in it. And I said I had to match the hue differently. And that drove me crazy for a couple of days, but it was the best I could do to kind of hide that there's any kind of thing that really shouldn't be there. So. But now I think I like it there, so, for some odd reason.
The shroud.
Oh, yeah, the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like in the gallery in Chilliwack, we were doing theme shows or whatever, and me and another artist, she was quite religious, and so she was dealing with that aspect of her faith, and I was always wondered about the Shroud of Turin, right? It's supposed to be Jesus, and so I studied up on it, and of course, there's all kinds of theories about what it is, and but what I liked was the photos of this shroud. So I had this piece of old canvas that I found at a garage sale. It was about 8 feet high or something. And I did a painting of it, which isn't here. Somebody in Vancouver bought it, but it was about 7 feet high. So I basically painted the whole theme, and I really loved doing that. And then I thought that's just a collage piece there, and the same with that other one. And then the quote has something to do with the whole, there's two different types of belief. I'm not used to this. There's two different kinds of beliefs about the shroud, right? There's the side that believes that's what it is, and there's the side that is skeptical, right? And I haven't been sold either way, so. But I like the imagery.